On this episode of the Bangkok Podcast, we take a closer look at why Thailand's national dish isn't actually very representative of Thai food at all.
But first, an innovative way to get out of a traffic ticket in Thailand when it happens to you. Evo tested, Evo approved.
Here's a big bag of episode 39 of the Bangkok Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Bangkok Podcast. My name is Greg Jorgensen, a Canadian expat who came to Thailand on a vacation in 2001 and decided to stick around for a little while.
And I am Evo Terra, an American expat living full-time in Bangkok since the beginning of 2016, currently not wearing any pants. Thanks for joining us and welcome to the Big Mango.
I'm just going to skip right over that and pretend I never heard it. Before we get into the real story of Pad Thai, Evo, I hear that you had a run-in with the Royal Thai Police. Now that you have your motorcycle license ready to go, the first thing you did, you went out and you got a ticket?
Well, yes, but... Coming back from Sheila's place of employment, which is all the way in Samut Sakhon, which is way west of town. Samut Sakhon, by the way, means ocean. I think we discussed that on a prior show. I'm coming back down one of the roads, couldn't tell you the name of it because I don't read Thai, and there's a police checkpoint. Now, the police checkpoints in Thailand are notorious for, if my trick has always been just stay in the right lane, ignore them, and play the white privilege card and drive right on through. Yeah, not this time. Every single motorbike was pulled over, and I'm a good 15 kilometers from the part of town where you and I live. I don't know where I am. I just know that I've been pulled over. But I also know that I'm fine. I have my license. I have the registration information. Everything's great. Pull over. First cop, when I pull my helmet off, he's like, "Oi." He says, the only Thai he speaks is, "You speak Thai?"
The only English you speak Thai.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's the only English that he speaks is, "You speak Thai?" To which I say, my standard Pampu Pasa Thai Mai Gan, which means no, my Thai is terrible and a terrible way of doing that. So he waits and then moves me forward, which I have to walk the bike because now I've taken my helmet off and I don't want to drive the motorbike without a helmet on. I'm on to these guys being wily, trying to trip up dumb farang like myself.
Wouldn't that be funny if you tried to pull over to the side of the road and they're like, driving without a helmet, 500 baht.
Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised, right? So I pull up and I've got a big smile on my face because, again, I know I'm legit. I planned for this and I'm kind of excited by this. Until the police officer who does speak Thai points to the license plate and he says, "Expired." To which
He does speak English.
Yeah, this guy, the second guy, speaks English. So I look down on the license and go, well, I see 2560, but I don't know what the month is. And of course, it's written in Thai, and he counts off January, February, March, April. April expired.
You're 2 months away.
So I grab my paperwork out and I hand that to him. He says, "No, look here, expires." Like, son of. So now I'm driving around, and I've rented this motorbike from a reputable place, and I'm just mad as heck that they have given me a bike which does not have proper registration.
Yeah, that's very irresponsible.
So I get home, I'm angry. I send a very angry message to the motorbike company that I've been renting from, and they simply write back, "Well, but it's not expired." I said, "Yes, it is. Here's the picture." And I sent them the picture that I took that shows it expired. And they said, "Well, yeah, that one's expired. But what about the giant one that's on the front of your bike?"
The cop didn't see that?
Cop didn't see that one either.
Oh, my God.
So then I had
Wait. Did you apologize to them? Oh,
yeah. You bet you I did. You bet I did.
Good for you.
Oh, my bad. And then I had a Thai friend of mine call the number on the tickety place because they've taken my license. They take your license in Thailand.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
So, and I figured, well, there's got to be a police station somewhere over there. I'm just not sure where over there was. So I need you to call my friend here, and so she called, and it's a good 30 kilometers in the other direction is where my license has made its way. I guess there are central clearinghouses in Bangkok that you have to go to.
Well, one thing a lot of people don't know, there's only 3 police stations in all of Bangkok.
That have license, perhaps that may be the case.
Apparently.
So on Sunday, because that's an okay day to do this, I drive to this police station in the middle of nowhere, and it is more than unassuming. Like, I drove by it, not realizing it was a police station. It was set back off the road. There are overgrown bushes. There's a canal running by somewhere. There's not the driveway is slow, sort of cut out of the concrete, and then it's just a gravel road you drive on for a few hundred meters till you get to this box, which is the police station.
It sounds like you're going to one of those doctor's offices where it's like a specialist clinic or something.
Yeah, in Mexico.
And you're looking for, and it's like some guy's condo with a little cardboard sign up front.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. Well, this can't be the right place. And so I walk into the place, and it's the right place. That's what people are there doing. They're all in line, handing money over to getting their license back. Well, I don't want to hand any money over because it's not my fault.
Right.
But the police officer working this little booth, how much English do you think he speaks?
I'm going to go on a limb and say 0.
Yeah. So, but this time I figured it out. So I called the motorbike rental place because half of that team does speak Thai. So
Nice.
Through a series of almost vaudevillian efforts, which I'm not going to go into, finally the Thai police were sick of me and tore up the ticket and handed me my license and just said, go.
Win.
Yes. Total
Win one for the farang.
complete win.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So anyhow, I won, but let's not count the hours that I spent.
I was going to say you won, but it took you like a day and a half of your time to prove it.
But I had a funny story to tell.
I'm building up. One of these days, I'm just going to, when I get pulled over or stopped for some reason or something, or have to deal with something that I don't want to deal with, I'm just going to pretend I don't speak English either.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go, you speak English? And
Right.
and they'll get so tired of doing sign language, they'll just have to let me go.
Yeah.
But I'm building my way up to that.
Yeah. I think that's.
I'm not brave enough to do it yet.
That is rational. That's a good idea if you could pull it off, right? Because at some point in time, it's just more hassle than they're willing to deal with, and it's much easier if they just say, "This one got away from us, boss," and just let it go.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get right into the episode's main topic now, and this is the classic quintessential dish that everyone has to have when they visit, and that is, of course, pad thai. Everyone's heard of pad thai. It's a popular dish in Canada. It's a popular dish overseas, all over the place. Thai food is pad thai for a lot of people. The only thing is, what if it's not all it's cracked up to be? Now, Ivo, you were talking about this to me the other day, and you brought up a little point that I knew, but I'd never really looked into. So you put on your investigative journalism hat once again and looked into the national dish of Thailand, which has a surprisingly non-Thai history. So fill us in. What did you learn?
Yeah, so as you said, pad thai is in fact the national dish of Thailand. That's very true, but it might actually be better called the ultra national dish, as this dish, pad thai, was invented during a period of ultra nationalism in Thailand. And this all happened back in 1932, that revolution that ended the absolute monarchy of Thailand and gave rise to the current system of a constitutional monarchy that we've had since that time.
That was a really big year. I think of that as the year between when Thailand turned 18.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, everything is changing. I've got a whole new road in front of me, and the very identity of the country was made anew in 1932. It was a really important year for Thailand.
Yeah, it was. I mean, prior to that happening, Thailand wasn't even Thailand. It was still Siam or Siam for most places. That's what it was known as. But they had changed the name to become Thailand. And at the time, the prime minister, whose name I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce, but because it doesn't really matter, the prime minister held a public contest to find a new national noodle dish. And the winning entry was this plate of rice noodles, preserved radishes, bean sprouts, peanuts, and egg that we know and love today as pad thai. But see, there's more to the story than that, and we'll get into some of the aspects during the program today. See, that same time in 1932, when this crazy wave of ultranationalism was happening, the wider aim at the time was to westernize and modernize this new country of Thailand. Brand new name. No longer we're going to be Siam. We're going to be Thailand. And part of that plan was to weaken the influence of China, which was a deliberate move when instead of using wheat noodles, which had been traditional, they started using rice noodles instead. So taking that away from China. But yeah, the whole reason pad thai exists was to create a national dish for Thailand and westernize and modernize Thailand away from history. It's
really interesting. The funny thing about Thai food is that it's Thai food is famous the world over. It's one of those foods. It's like sushi. It's like Italian food. And I've asked my friends before, what is Canadian food? I don't know what Canadian food is.
Back
But
bacon.
Thailand is, what's that?
Back bacon.
Okay, back bacon, moose burgers, and beaver tails. Yeah, okay.
Right.
But Thailand is one of those countries that is lucky enough to sort of have its sort of carved out its own little niche of food identity. You have sushi, you have Italian food, you have Chinese food, and Thai food. And I think it's a real, I don't know if it's a strategy or just a lucky accident of history. I kind of keep thinking about it and going back and forth. But Thai food is a really complicated mishmash of everything around it. And of course, you know, the Thai food doesn't stop at the border between Cambodia or Burma or Laos or Myanmar.
Right.
You know, it bleeds back and forth, and the influences come from all over the place. So I think for a long time, quote unquote, Thai food, no one really knew what that was.
Yeah.
So this was an interesting reaction to that. So pad Thai, when it was created, it actually literally translate to stir-fried Thai. Pad means to cook in a wok. So it really isn't representative of actual Thai food, even though it has somehow become the default of what most foreigners think of when they think of Thai food.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, outside of that contest, and as you mentioned, the rest of the world's obsession today with this idea of Thailand, not really. I mean, pad Thai is not representative of traditional Thai food. I mean, let's face it, this is food that has no spice, which is weird. Pad Thai, just native, natural, straight off the street, doesn't have much in the way of spice to it. And, as you said earlier, it's eaten with chopsticks. It's the only Thai food eaten with chopsticks. Every other dish out there is either eaten with the spoon or your hands. There's no chopsticks used in Thailand unless you're eating Chinese food or pad Thai. But if we take flavor and utensils aside, I actually could make an argument that pad Thai is the perfect modern Thai food, even though it has little in common with other Thai cuisines, Greg.
Really? I've never liked pad Thai. Like, for those of you outside of Thailand who aren't really familiar with Thai food and are listening to this, pad Thai is not Thai food in Thailand. It's like when you go to Australia and you order Foster's. I haven't been to Australia since I was a kid, so I wasn't drinking beer back then. But from what I'm told, no Australian drinks Foster's. No. And the same thing when you go to China and you go into a restaurant and you order like cow soy gai or some Chinese dish that we have in North America.
Yeah, General Tso's chicken, right? They would look at you like, what?
Yeah.
Who's General Tso again? And why does he have chicken?
I don't like pad Thai. I think it's a terrible dish. It's like you said, it's bland,
Yeah.
It's boring, it's unimaginative. And I can think off the top of my head, I can think of 10 other Thai dishes that are much spicier and tastier and have that complex mix of tastes and textures that Thai food has. There's pad Thai, or it's not pad Thai, sorry, laab mu, which is one of my favorite dishes. There's khao soy, which is like a northern Thai crispy noodle soup.
Right.
There's galang gai, there's gui chap, there's mu dang. There's all these kinds of foods that go on and on and on, and all of them are much tastier and much more delicious than pad Thai.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you. And assuming most of what you just said was food, I completely agree. But here's the reality, and you hinted at this a little bit earlier. Thai food, that which we know as Thai food today, is heavily influenced by lots of other cultures and societies and foods from all over the place, right? And they had an impact on what we now know as Thai culture. And a lot of the things you mentioned are really Isan foods, or sometimes they're from Cambodia, or they've still got Chinese influence, right? If you go to any of the markets in Thailand, though, you'll see crazy things like Dunkin' Donuts, which sell weird Thai blends of donuts that you can't get on the street corner of Maine in your hometown back in the States or in Canada. You can get weirdo Thai-only sushi, which isn't even Thai. They had like some weird Mexican corn sushi thing, which is very Thai. Macaroons are all over the place in here. You get Kanam Tokyo. Kanam is Thai for dessert, and Tokyo is not Thai or dessert. What does that actually mean? And sukiyaki and things like that, which sound Japanese, but they've been totally adapted by Thais to make their own style and taste. So when I call it the perfect modern Thai food, it's because it is this weird mixture. Thais are very good at appropriating or misappropriating, whatever the right word you want to use is, and making something uniquely their own. Well, this dish was completely made to be the representative dish of Thailand. Is it the best dish of Thailand? Oh, gods, no. As you mentioned, laab clearly holds that title in my world.
Oh, yeah.
But it's, the Thais, the way they do food, it's kind of representative of what Thailand does to food. Pad Thai is to Thai food, I guess, the way that maybe pizza is to America. Nothing to do with Italy, everything to do with America.
That's interesting what you said. Like, it's sort of like a pedigree. I think Pad Thai was maybe the first attempt to put a uniquely Thai spin on a bit of food that was appropriated from another place. And just recently, I wrote on my blog on Greg to Differ, I wrote a post. I was walking by at the mall, and I saw this Dairy Queen, and they were advertising a mango tango blizzard or whatever it was, and it came mixed with sticky rice in the ice cream.
Right.
And I'm like, I gotta have that. So I ordered a big one, and I wrote a blog post about it, because that is something that you see over here a lot. The Thais, they take this food and like, how can we make this Thai? And they put their own little spin on it, and sometimes it works, a lot of times it doesn't.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about the green curry pizza I had one time, and I almost threw up. Oh. But there's another post. If you follow the Bangkok Podcast Facebook page, you'll probably see a picture that I posted last week where my mother-in-law had a big bowl of delicious-looking beef noodles, and she took out the thing of sugar and put 2 heaping tablespoons of sugar into the beef noodles. Which is, God, I mean, I'm all for mixing and matching taste, but Jesus.
I'm with you on that, especially when it comes to like these beef noodles, which is really stew with noodles, right? I mean, if you're American or you're Canadian, think beef stew, just throw some noodles in it, and that's kind of what we get. Your grandmother, my grandmother, everyone's grandmother would have had a conniption fit had anybody thrown sugar in their stew. But here, it's the way that it's done.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll eat a dozen Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kreme donuts by myself. I've got a sweet tooth that'll go to the end of the earth, but that's just a bridge too far for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. But that is Thainization, I have heard it called, where Thais will take a concept and make it their own. And I don't know that it's uniquely Thai. I think to a certain degree, every culture does that. But when most people, I shouldn't say most people, when many people think about Thailand, they think about, this ancient land that people that have existed in this location for hundreds of thousands of years, which isn't true, or even hundreds of years, which is still kind of not true, and this ancient, long-lasting, long-held traditions. It's not that way. The world moves pretty fast. Yes, there are certain traditions and many foods that have been around in this area for a very long time, but Thais do a great job of looking at what else is available and adjusting the food and other things to reinvent themselves all the time, which is odd because I've lived here for a year and a half now, and I typically don't think of Thais as all that inventive. But when I look at it at this level, clearly they are, because they're doing this Thainization with almost everything that makes its way here.
Yeah, and it's also, you also see it in a lot of different elements of Thai society too. Like there's always there's a definite ongoing push to define what Thai culture is. Thainess, they call it, and it's kind of cheesy and it's used far too often. But like, you have the Thai, I can't even remember that. I'm going blank now, but the department of the government that tries to set what Thai language is. And they try to control what is and what is not Thai language, which sort of goes against the whole point of language in that it's very fluid and it evolves and reacts over time.
Right.
So, there's Thai fashion, there's the silk, there's what's proper and what's improper, there's Thai language. There's, the way a quote unquote a good Thai girl should act. I mean, everyone knows what that's like. And it's sort of a part of the culture where they try to define these little mini elements of it and these little pockets of the culture that are kind of undefinable. And I guess food fits into that place too. I think this guy back then was like, okay, we need an official dish. What can we do? What can we do? So it shows the creativity, but also it shows a little bit of the nationalistic bent that a lot of people have and how they try to control how things are seen and observed and put out to the rest of the world.
Yeah, and on a long enough time scale, that's not going to continue, right? I think things are going to change. You can fight, you can be. I'll use the word conservative, and I don't necessarily mean it. Well, I probably do, but pretend that I don't mean it in a political connotation. But that's a fool's errand. You're ultimately, on a long enough time scale, whether it's a decade or a dozen decades, that which is today is going to be old and not necessarily something we want to do any longer. But listen, I'm going to get off my high horse and instead talk about spices. Because I just said pad thai is spice-free. Actually, it's a very delicately balanced flavor, which is one of the reasons why from what I've read, it was one of the reasons why pad thai was selected as the winner back in 1930, whatever, because it had the perfect balance between sweet and salty and savory. And for whatever that means. Listen, I'm a hophead when it comes to beer drinking. I care nothing for balance, and I want additional. If I've not found food that's too terribly hot, so to please everybody else, what they have done is there is this new thing, and I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of something that I know is called prung, which is that combination of spices that you find on the table when pad thai is being served. That's sugar, Greg's favorite, chilies, vinegar, and the ever-present fish sauce. Those four things are the classic prung, and again, I'm totally butchering that. But that's the way you can make it sweeter if you want. I can't imagine why you would want to do that. More sour if that's your thing, or even add in salty, or might do it the way I like that, even more spicy. So you get to make pad thai the way you want it. Even if you go to one of the best places in town, or arguably the best place in the town, Tip Samai, you'll still find those spices on the table, and feel free to load up on whichever direction you want your taste buds to go.
Yeah, I always put vinegar in my Thai food if it's on the table. I like a little bit of sourness in it. My wife loses her mind when I do that.
Really?
And I again, that's a reflection of your Thai. You have a dish of Thai food, and she's like, it's perfect as it is. Why do you want to change it?
What?
But yeah, maybe she gets extra mad when I put like farang spices on it, like sriracha sauce, or like a little bit of basil or something like that. She's like, What are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of vinegar.
Oh, okay. So mine is always the spice for making it hotter, adding more chili powders, and fish sauce. I got a salty streak to me, and that really works. You can't find salt on the table in Thailand anywhere.
No.
And if you do find it, it won't shake out. I mean, it's a solid well of rock. so instead of that, they use fish sauce. So if you're looking for salt, it's there. It's that greenish gray liquid. It's called fish sauce, and just put that on. That's salt in Thailand.
I'm a little hypocritical. Hey, I'm like, how dare my mother-in-law put sugar on her food while I'm spooning vinegar into my noodles?
Yeah. That also probably would. Actually, no, your grandmother would have been okay with that because they used vinegar a lot back in the day. Back in the day. Well, that was really interesting, man. It's just a perfect example of there's just this seemingly boring, vanilla, benign thing sitting on the table. But as with most things in Thailand, there's always a really cool story behind it. So yeah. I appreciate the research you did. Well, I am happy to help out. Our audience seems to respond well when I don't just pull stuff out of my research department and instead actually go really research stuff. So maybe I'll do more of that if they say nice things. And support us on Patreon. Should I mention support us on Patreon?
I think we mentioned support us on Patreon.
I don't think I have, but I think I should mention support us on Patreon. If you're digging the show, patreon.com/Bangkok podcast, and you can give us a couple of shekels. I'll use your terminology, and that would help us out a big way. But the show's not over. I just wanted to drop in. This is a good time to think about Patreon. So yeah, thanks. Think about Patreon. So again, back to food for a moment here. There's lots of dishes, if you come to have an authentic Thai experience, that you should have that are not pad Thai. Go ahead and have pad Thai. You can chase around the whole city looking for the best if you want. Fine. Pad Thai is pretty much pad Thai. It's pretty much the same pad Thai you had back in wherever you come from. There are lots of other great dishes, and we'll talk about them on future shows too. But definitely laab mu should be high on your list. And with any luck, we've killed your desire to go quest out more good pad Thai. But here's something we haven't killed, and that is our love for my favorite segment of the show called Love, Loathe, or Leave, where I spring something on Greg usually, or sometimes it's the other way around, that is one little special quirk about living here in the Kingdom of Thailand to find out if the other person loves that about the country, if they loathe it about the country, or they hate it so much that that person is now ready to leave. So, Greg, you and I are both middle-aged men. And middle-aged men, shut up, just roll with it. Pretend you're the same age as I am. Middle-aged men in Thailand have a natural built-in air conditioner that I am starting to utilize. And that's where you roll your T-shirt up over your belly and just let it hang free. You got your drawers on, and the rib cage is covered, but that nice Buddha-esque belly is out, cooling off for the world to enjoy.
Yeah, that's funny. When I first got here, I saw that. I'm like, what the hell are these guys doing? But yeah, if you're not familiar with it, a lot of times you'll just see Thai dudes just standing around, and they've rolled their shirt up to just below their nipples. Yep. And their belly is just loud and proud for all the world to see.
It's like they missed the whole midriff thing in the 70s, and they're bringing it back now, except for large guys.
I had a pretty killer half shirt when I was about 11 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess these guys just sort of never wanted to let the fashion fade. They say it's to keep cool.
Right.
But, I mean, from what I know about basic biology, the stomach isn't a major heat sink, is it? I thought that was your head and, your neck and stuff like that.
Oh, see, I totally misinterpreted. I mean, I think it looks cool. So that's what they're doing. They're doing so they keep their coolness by showing everyone.
Why don't they just smoke a cigarette like anyone else does?
No. That's just nasty. So that's gross. So I am adopting this from now on. I am doing the shirt roll up. So far, I've only done it when Sheila's come home from work in the condo. She hasn't quite let me out of the house yet. We'll get there one of these days.
I'm going to do it when my wife comes home one time, and I'll report back later what she says. I'm going to go on a limb and say it's not going to be positive, not going to be encouraging. But I don't love this. I think it looks kind of rednecky and goofy, and I don't know how effective it is. But hey, man, if you're Thai, you have every right to hang out on the side of the street with your shirt up. If you're a foreigner, though, and we've talked about this before, like these idiots that walk around without a shirt on, right? I think just dress like you would at home. If you're Thai, dress like you would at Thai, and apparently, some of the time that means lifting your shirt up. So I don't loathe it. I don't love it. Do what makes you happy. Do whatever blows your hair back.
Blows your hair back? Like, when's the last time you experienced what that was?
Long time ago.
Sorry.
Long time ago.
Hey, but before we go, guys, I said it earlier, but I'm going to say it one more time. A quick reminder, if you would love to support the show and the goofiness that we do, please head on over to the Bangkok Podcast's Patreon page. That's patreon.com/Bangkok Podcast and make a small contribution.
Yeah, you can get longer shows, bonus content, and even a bit of swag. And again, extra big thanks to those who have already signed up as patrons. As we say in Thai, Rao Rakun.
I have no idea what that means. Something you. Well, we love you. So we love you.
We love you. There you go. We love you.
I am learning Thai.
Well, everyone, thanks for listening to the Bangkok Podcast this week. If you have anything you'd like to share or a topic you'd like to hear us talk about on a future show, just head over to bangkokpodcast.com and leave a comment. Or you can reach out directly to me on Twitter, where I am BKK Greg.
Or you can send us a message either on Facebook or on Twitter at Bangkok Podcast. Oh, and don't forget, our Line account is growing. If you really want to listen like a true person from Thailand, and with or without your belly extended and hanging out, you got to get on Line, not online. You got to get online, Line. There's a link to our sign up in the show notes for this particular episode. For Greg Jorgensen, I am Evo Terra. We'll be back next week with more stories of our lives lived in Krung Thep Mahanakan, right here on the Bangkok Podcast. Cheers. Ready. Oh, did you hit record?
Got your lemon tea?
No, I didn't do lemon tea this time around.
Got your Ricola?
No Ricola, so hopefully I won't cough myself to death. We'll see.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
What button am I looking for? Oh, right here. Okay.
The button that turns you on? I don't know.
If only there was a button.